doing what you love is doing what your passions is. And I'm all about passions and like that. But sometimes we're like, well, this is like shiny object syndrome. Oh, I'm passionate about this, so let me do this. Oh, I'm passionate about that. And it can be confusing. Once you pick a lane, you love what you do. So yes, it's got to incorporate your passion and your interests and be a fit for you. And then we end up loving what we do and having that mindset, that's that growth mindset that helps us stay with it even when there are challenges.
This is Get Unstuck Podcast, a podcast for entrepreneurs who prioritize their life first, business second. I'm Mudita Panmuk, your host, who dedicates my life to designing and building a business that supports lifestyle. We will learn together from entrepreneurs around the world how they overcome their life challenges, their business obstacles, and yet still get unstuck from the hamster wheel of burying themselves into their business. Because time is the number one commodity in the world that you cannot get back once it's gone. So let's shorten the learning curve and see how can we prioritize better. Let's get unstuck. Hi, Get Unstuck Nation. With over 20 years of experience as a transition coach and certified CDC divorce and transformational coach, Barb Scala helps professional and empty nester women get unstuck, repackage, and repurpose their expertise so that they showcase their unique value, align with more meaningful work, and work on their terms. You know, over here, we are always support people who finding their life purpose and put their life first before their work or business. So I think this is going to be a great episode for you guys to understand more about how to find balance or what the bloom moment really means. You're going to know more about that if you stay tuned. So without further ado, let's deep dive into transformational conversation today. So please welcome Barb to Get Unstuck Podcast today. Hi, Barb. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you? Oh my gosh, it's such an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah, I'm so excited because Bloom with Barb. I'm like, once I enter to your website, I'm like, wow, this is like already blooming my heart. Before we get there though, I would like to talk about your experience a little bit. How did you start your entrepreneurial journey though?
Oh, well, let's see. I've had stops and starts, which I talk about in my coaching. And that's what sometimes we do. We're in a swirl or we toe dip. And I honestly, my world got shook up by a divorce and over 20 years ago. And so I really started on my own personal discovery journey. I started working with different people, not necessarily women, but then I focused in on women and I wanted to help them create a wonderful life after divorce. That morphed into what I'm focused on now, and that is really helping women bloom. So in their life and in their work and everything. It's a holistic view. So my entrepreneurial journey has been long. In between, though, I stepped into and out of practicing law, which is my profession. So there you have it. Sometimes we have those kind of journeys.
Yeah, I understand. I'm a lawyer myself, so you cannot leave that totally, but you need something that have to do apart from legal journey.
Exactly. To feed your soul, right? And to make a difference. I mean, that's clearly the people I help. The women I work with are women with purpose-driven missions.
Talking about that, how can we know that we are purpose-driven? You know, like not everyone knows. How can we know and know that this is what next for us, or this is something more for us to do?
Well, I think you just hear that little voice inside, right? I mean, how did that happen for you? You know that there's a little something more. I always say there's something, that little voice personally for me, said there's something more. My work was very transactional in law, and so I wanted to share more of what I could share, and make a difference and be fulfilled at the same time. So as I help people, I'm helped in return. And that's a win-win situation, or the kind of the way it's supposed to be. So I'm sharing the knowledge I can to help women bloom, and in the process, I'm blooming too.
Talk about blooming. How did you come up with Bloom with Barb, or what does Bloom Moments means for you?
So Bloom came out of, actually I was teaching, helping to teach a college course on journalism, and we wanted to morph Bloom and create Bloom into an online magazine back some years ago. So all the students were working on it, and we needed a title for this magazine, right? And I just was writing. I'm like, you guys, let's write down any ideas, just like brain dump right now. And what I brain dumped was Bloom, and I kept coming back to that. And we took a vote, and everybody loved it because it was for women. It was a whole lifestyle approach of a magazine or a blog, an online magazine, but it captured everything that I wanted to help women with, and that's empower them to live up to their potential, because we all have this greatness within, and we probably use this much of it, which is a tiny bit if you're listening to audio. And so we can always bloom and go on a journey of self-discovery and learning and growing. Blooming is all about growing, just growing. And it doesn't mean putting a lot of stress and pressure on yourself, like I have to do this or shoulds or shouldn'ts. It's bottom line, it's about growing, personal and professional, emotional, spiritual, everything, a holistic approach to growing.
I understand that life is about changes. Like it's all the time. It's always change. Time change, people change, life change, right? But how can we cope with life in transition then, in general? Like when things are ups and downs, or even when can we know that this is about to change?
We can know when it's about to change, or when we want to make a change. Again, when we're feeling a lot of different emotions, right? It could be frustration, it could be stress, anxiety, anger, some sort of more on the negative side of emotion that's propelling you, because we usually don't change without some sort of pain. In the coaching world, we learn to understand the people we work with and their pain point, because they're struggling with something. And if we're not messaging or touching them in some way and saying, I understand where you are, I understand that you're challenged with something. It doesn't mean you have to be in this extreme pain, but it can be like a frustration, like I'm here and I want to get to a different level, or I want to go on a different journey. I want a different path. I want to switch gears. I want to transition. I want to transform and my life and my work in some way. And so when I'm working with women who want to get more purpose driven and centered, they feel like there's some sort of emptiness, that they're not fulfilled and they haven't made a difference, and they're not making the impact they want to make for people and having those results. So that's what we work on.
So in that case, I see this word in your website as well, seeds of success, seeds for success. Sorry. What are these seeds of success? Seeds for success. I said wrong.
Seeds for success. Well, of course, in my Bloom language, we have to sow our seeds. We have to plant our seeds and sprout. If we want to change, go in a new direction, transition, transform, have a transformation in some way. And I've noticed that there's 5 common traits or not necessarily things to do, let's call them common traits that women who are having success that they all do or have. And it's an acronym for Bloom. So I take the B and they're being positive. And that is an expansive growth mindset as opposed to a fixed mindset. When challenges come along, it's not saying, oh, I give up, or it's saying, okay, I see the challenge. I recognize it. I'm going to figure out how to, get through this struggle or this challenge, and we all have them. And then the L in Bloom for the acronym is love what you do, which is all about positioning yourself in something that resonates for you so that you can share your knowledge and impart your knowledge on it and get that fulfillment that you're looking for to help fulfill others. The first O in the Bloom is for own your power, and that's about your authentic self and your own superpower in knowing, instead of disregarding your strengths, knowing your strengths, highlighting your strengths and your uniqueness out there in the world. And then the second O is for organize your life. If you're not organized, it's success is going to be hard because it's going to be challenging. We have to put some sort of order and balance. I'm the co-author of Sanity Savers Tips for Women to Live a Balanced Life. It doesn't mean life has to be perfectly in balance. In fact, it never will be perfectly in balance, but to have some sort of order so that you can move forward with your goals that you want to accomplish and the impact you want to make. And then the M is for moving forward, taking those action steps, those concrete action steps to move forward. And when we plant these seeds for success, being positive, loving what we do, owning our authenticity, organizing and moving forward, we start to bloom.
And
You
how
like
can we, sorry?
You like that?
Yeah, I'm thinking along. And what are the things that holding us back not to bloom then?
Oh, I call those our weeds. Of course I do.
Cute. Oh my God.
Our weeds. And I boil them down to 4 weeds, and they are our limited beliefs. There are no clients out there. That's a limited belief. Well, sure they are. Maybe you just haven't found them or connected with them in the right way, or the way that energy will say, oh my gosh, yes, I need to work with that person, or listen, or she can share her knowledge or something. So limited beliefs, distorted stories about ourselves. We tend to think of all the bad stuffs and all the failures that happen to us instead of all the really wonderful wisdom and experience we've accumulated. And then I call it the blame shame game. That's about worry, fear, blame, shame, shoulds, shouldn'ts. All that stuff keeps us back. And then the 4th thing is our negative self-talk, just not being our own cheerleader, saying, you're not that smart. You're not, oh, look at what she's doing. You can't speak to a crowd that way, or anything that keeps us down and not from blooming. So that's how I look at them, as weeds, and it's clearing the weeds. Now, we know in a garden, once we pull a weed, right, another one grows back. So it's something it's something to do our whole lives, is to be very aware of these weeds. But once we get them under control, we can manage them. So when they pop up, when a distorted story pops up about ourselves, we can say, that's a distorted story. Yes, that didn't go so well, but I learned from it, and here's how I'm going to apply that today.
So after we, okay, let's say that, okay, now we have tools to think about that. But why the day-to-day life could still feel overwhelmed? Like, what is it that why we're trying to find the life balance thing, to feel more fulfilled?
Life that well, I think when I think I know when life gets way out of balance, it stresses us out. It gives us a lot of anxiety, and we start going into our weeds and our negative self-talk and things like that, right? We don't want life to be a big unbalanced roller coaster. It's never perfectly imbalanced, but we want it to be more like this, of a roller coaster ride. We experience a challenge, okay, we ride it, we get over it. We don't want it to be like this, because we're going to be in burnout and a whole other bunch of things that are not going to be good for our well-being.
And what would be the differences, you mentioned this, between love what we do and doing what we love?
Oh, yeah. Steve Jobs said that, I believe, in a commencement address when he was speaking, and he said, love what you do, and it's different than do what you love. Doing what you love is doing what your passions is, and I'm all about passions and like that, but sometimes we're like, well, this is like shiny object syndrome. Oh, I'm passionate about this, so let me do this. Oh, I'm passionate about that, and it can be confusing. Once you pick a lane, you love what you do. So yes, it's got to incorporate your passion and your interests and be a fit for you. And then we end up loving what we do and having that mindset, that's that growth mindset that helps us stay with it even when there are challenges. So we can't always love, every day can present something and we can say, we can say, oh, I can't stand this, or we can say, I'm loving what I do, and again, I'm going to get through this, work with this. This is going to work for me. So I don't say go out there and chase after what you love to do, what you love, because sometimes you can be just chasing and in pursuit of that shiny object all the time. I say, you know what your purpose, we all know what our purpose is inside. It's excavate it and then work with it and love it and know that you're perfectly aligned doing it. And there's so much to learn about it. And there's so much to help people and to teach them and help them learn so they can bloom and grow.
I think the biggest part that is the hardest actually is like, how can we reinvent ourselves really? Like, okay, we already know that this is maybe the problem. This is maybe holding us back to be more than ourselves. So maybe we already understand now and we catch up now. Okay, this is what holding us back, and this is maybe why we can't do more of what we want to. However, we don't know where to start, right? How can we reinvent? How can we start to change or start to transform? What do you suggest to start the change, to move this next wheel of life?
To reinvent. Well, reinventing is a kind of an overused phrase, I think, out there. We know that we may not know exactly how or what we want to reinvent ourselves to, or it's really more of a transition or a transformation. But starting the journey with a personal assessment, your baseline where you are, and knowing what your vision is. So that is the first step of my program. It's, okay, your vision, you're having this vision for a reason. The person next door isn't having those thoughts. Why are you having these thoughts? What are you thinking? And some people are there's some fear around working with their vision. It can't come true, or I can't really think in this way, or this is not what I learned to do, or this is not the path I'm on. And I say, work with your vision. You know you're not being fulfilled, or you want something more, or there's something else. And what is it? Get on the path, work with it, and they start sprouting, which is the first step in my program. Start sprouting their vision, and then working that into a purpose-driven mission, and then coming up with programming or services that support that to help transform other lives. So it's a transformation. Your personal transformation. Let's say you're a financial person. You've seen yourself transform and know the steps to have financial security. Well, how can you help others to take those steps to transform to their financial security too? What are those steps? And so we come up with a lot of women that work with me say, I have a lot of content, but I don't have the structure. And so we work on structuring out so they feel very confident that they have a purpose-driven mission, and that they have a program that others can follow very concisely and easily, so that they can get their mission out there and not just kind of wander around and not know what to do with all their expertise that they have. They're way showers. Women that are blooming are way showers, and they're guiding other people to like financial security, to have to nurturing their soul and their homes. I've worked with women who are interior design consultants, and they're helping people to live in spaces that nurture them. I work with marketing as strategists who want to help different type of people get their work out there, like creative people, people who have written a book and it's just sitting on the shelf, or have an idea. And so these people come to me, and we work on how they can work on a program or services to help the people they want to help.
I really like this quote on your website. I just quote you. Then, I believe any woman who musters the courage to rebuild, reorganize, and reinvent can find the freedom to live life on her terms and bloom. I think that's amazing. What inspired you to write this quote on?
Really, after my divorce, really is living life on our terms. It doesn't matter what your relationship status is, but it doesn't feel good when life controls you. It feels very good when you feel in control of your life. And yes, circumstances happen that we don't have control over. But when we feel like we're steering our own ship and living life on our terms. So I hear a lot of women say, I want to do what I want to do, but I'm not doing what I want to do. Well, I feel, right, there's a lot of do's in there. There's a lot of should and shouldn'ts in between all that. And I want every woman to bloom. So I want them to do what they want to do. I want them to live life on their terms. And if they don't feel they are, then get on the path to do it. And my seeds for success are not for building businesses only. They're for people coming out of any transition. Could be a health transition, could be a divorce, it could be you've lost a partner, it could be you've had a career change or want to. It doesn't matter what transition. My program is helping solopreneurs and women business owners really get their work out there and share and empower and help and be of service. But when you use those seeds for success, you can apply to any transition. Having a be positive growth mindset is essential. Loving what you do is essential to to your fulfillment. It's part of life fulfillment. Owning your authenticity out there is so important, and organizing your life so it makes sense to you. That doesn't mean your closets have to be perfectly organized at all, just so you don't feel totally wonky out of balance. And then moving forward, not staying paralyzed or in a swirl or on a gerbil wheel. Always taking steps to know you can move forward.
So in case anyone want to work with you or follow your work, where can they reach out to you then?
Well, they can email me at barb@bloomwithbarb.com. They can go to my website, bloomwithbarb.com, and right there's a button, book a call with me. Anyone I offer a free, I call it a clarity call or a discovery call. You may not exactly know. You know that there's something more, but you may not exactly know what that is, how to structure it, your how, or your why. And, we'll get some clarity on it. Even in one session, it's amazing shifts happen. And so I offer out as a complimentary. And so I really want people, you listeners out there, to take me up on that. So again, email me at barb@bloomwithbarb.com or go to my website, bloomwithbarb.com. And on every page, there's a button to contact me. And also to my program, my mastermind, my Bloom Mastermind program is where we put structure and form to getting women on the path of their purpose-driven mission, developing those programs that's the service to others, and then help them market it and make it into a monetized venture. These are solopreneurs that could be have challenges, and they're thinking there are no clients out there, or I'm not growing. So it's a growth accelerator to help women as solo women business owners.
So everyone, in case anyone interested to start blooming your life, please check out bloomwithbarb.com. So we will make sure that the link will be around here, her email will be around here, as well as the description and show note. Thank you so much, Barb, to sharing the blooming ideas with Get Unstuck Podcast today. I think I have seen and you start putting the seed for success in my brain already. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh my gosh, Machida, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. I love the work that you're doing. So you keep blooming as well, because you are really helping people out there with all you're doing. So, you're one of those people who are on your purpose-driven mission, and I love it. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I hope this episode inspires you wherever you are in your entrepreneurial journey, so that you can have your business that supports your lifestyle. Get a show note at getunstuckmethod.com/podcast. Review what we have learned together today and start implementing right now. See it by yourself. The result of your consistent action are worth it. You deserve the freedom to enjoy your life. Until the next episode, let's get unstuck.